Now it's time for Straight on the Point with Jesse T. from some undisclosed location somewhere in the world. Now, ladies and gentlemen, here's Jesse T.
Well. Good to be back with you. The Brown Beauty is back on duty, Jesse T, for the Jesse T Show. We're on the air and everywhere. Yes, from the community to the world. Aye, pirates are among us today. Aye. Where's my wench and my rum? Ha, 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 ha. Yar. You see, I did that because, you see, I got no tooth here, and I'm acting like a pirate. That's right. Where's the wenches? Ho! Buckle down the bear. Right? Yeah. So you see, I'm auditioning for a role for Pirates of the Caribbean version 10 with Johnny Depp. So I'm giving it the real deal. No fake black thing on my tooth. I just yanked it out. Okay. No, really what happened is I was eating some ice after I drank a Dr. Pepper and my tooth cracked and split apart, and I've got to go get a crown drilled up into the bone, one of those screws, and I got to get a cap put on there or a crown or whatever they call that. And man, it's like $3,000. My dad, you pay all this time for dental insurance, right? We pay all this money for dental insurance. But when you really need it, they don't do it for you.
I'll do it for 50% off.
I bet you would. You just love to have me in a chair drilling into my jaw, wouldn't you?
I got my DeWalt right here next to me. Yeah. Got some nice stainless steel screws that I can put up in there, and we'll put some,
What are you going to do about Novocaine, dude? Come on. You got to shoot me up, baby.
I'll give you a shot of Jack Daniels, and we're going to rough it out cowboy style.
I kind of look like those guys from Deliverance, those rednecks, back in the woods of Tennessee. Yeah, we're going to stick you like a pig. We got some moonshine and crack. Yeah.
We're going to go cowboy style. A couple of shots, and we're going to drill.
You know something? I am He-Man.
Yeah, okay.
I can do it. I can take it.
I bet you squeal like a pig.
No, baby. I just suck it up. The pain is my game.
You're going to be yelling for mama.
Here's an honest story. This is a story. My father, 86 years old, right? Anybody who's had a lot of dental work and tooth work and stuff, everybody gets shot up with Novocaine but my father, he has full dentures all the way around, okay? And at maybe about 40 years ago or something, he had to go get some teeth work. His last remaining teeth he had to have pulled out, and they were all messed up and everything. So the dentist had to do some bone work on the gum line in order to fix something that was going wrong. I don't exactly know what it was, but so my dad said to the dentist, he started, and the dentist said, you want some Novocaine? And my dad said, yeah, sure, no problem. So he shot him with some Novocaine. That's knife cuts and sucking and my dad said, the dentist said, do you feel that? My dad said, yeah, I feel it. Yeah. Want some more Novocaine? Yeah. Right? 8 shots of Novocaine, and my dad still felt it, okay? So he just toughed it out, the old-timer he is, got the work done. He went home, and my mom, Mother T, because Mama T is somebody different, Mother T, she said, you get your teeth done? Yeah, no problem. And he's fine. The Novocaine didn't work. So he went and he got a drink of Irish cream with Kahlua and coffee. My mom, that was one of his favorite drinks, right? Irish cream, Kahlua, and coffee. He took one swig of that, and then all of a sudden, those 8 shots of Novocaine kicked in, and his face felt like a basketball.
Yeah, no feeling at all.
Anywhere, from his chest to his face. Yeah.
Was he chewing on his tongue?
Just like that, it kicked in those 8 shots of Novocaine, right?
Man. Damn. Yeah. That's wicked.
Is that wicked, man? So
totally.
he had that problem for that night. It's a funny story,
delayed reaction.
Total delayed reaction. But anyhow, yeah, I'm gonna get that stuff put in there, and Any dentists out there that want to give me a discount and a break, please, look at, just as long as you got a dental license in the state of California, you can cut me up, baby. That's right.
Okay, I'll do it for 25%.
You're still working me, man.
Yeah.
Working me.
$750. I'll do it for $750 right now, live on the air.
$750 live. We ought to do that. We ought to do my dental preparation on the air.
Well,
would that be like the coolest thing in the world?
Get a dentist that's willing to bring in the equipment, and
I would do that.
Yeah, or we could do a live broadcast from his spot there.
You know something? I would do that.
You would. I know you would.
That
You're
would
such
be
a
like
ham.
That would be so cool.
Yeah.
Right?
It would be.
I mean, people could hear how I really react to pain. Yes.
He said, well, I thought we were doing that on Jesse. It sounds like a girl.
Well, if a girl sounds like this, then you know you're in the wrong house.
It sounds like a girl screaming like a little 13-year-old.
Hey, I'm pretty tough when it comes to dental stuff.
Yeah, right.
I am. I'm not a little wissy woo. Too many of those running around today.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a guest coming in here in a little bit. I know he's fighting traffic because traffic just sucks for everybody in Los Angeles. It's just never going to get better. It's just going to get worse and worse and worse as time goes on. And we're all, it's sort of like our future is going to be sitting on every street and every alley and every highway and freeway parked. That's what's just going to happen to us. We're just not happening. That's it. That's not going to go on. And you just can't get anywhere anymore in any time. And being in the real estate business, I'm being encouraged by my distinguished fellow, Lee Michaels, that I should do and talk more real estate on the show.
I think you should.
And more finance because, and
there's a world of people out there that need that advice, and you're the man.
Well, look at. All right, tell you what.
How long have you been doing it?
40 years.
Okay, 40 years. Who could know more than you?
Not too many.
You've had every experience known to mankind. The guy that comes in that can write a check and close immediately.
Yep.
Or to the guy that says, well, I don't know, Jesse, this might be a little bit out of my ballpark. And everything in between.
Right.
Those are stories, man.
I got lots of them.
Yeah. I mean, you could tell a different story every day.
I could.
Until you die, and you wouldn't have gone through all of them.
No, I wouldn't.
Yeah. And you could repeat them, and it'd still be interested.
Yeah, they would. But, I don't know if people are really interested in real estate.
Of course they are.
A day-to-day kind of real estate show or maybe a segment of every show towards real estate. I don't know. Would people really be interested in something like that?
Well, let's ask them.
Well, let's ask. Okay, look, if you want me to do a real estate show and a loan show, teach you how to get a loan when you've been turned down 17 times by everybody,
right.
Teach you some of the little tricks and the little nooks and crannies to skirt through the system and without stretching the rubber band too far.
Right. Making it break.
Yeah, and finding real estate today is really hard for people because there's just nothing out there. But I seem to always be able to find, like Angel, in fact. Angel, one of my buyers around a couple of years, he's buying his second house. It took us 50 houses to find his second house, and it's perfect for what he wants, and he's getting his loan done. It's all done, and he works for himself. He's an independent contractor, and he makes about $60,000 a year, but now he's going to own 2 houses. Now, you go figure out how somebody at $60,000 a year owned 2 houses in less than a year.
Well, I think that would be a very interesting show, and you should get Angel to come in and tell his story.
That actually is a pretty good idea.
Yeah, I know. I'm a genius at this. Listen, I've been doing this for 52 years like you've been doing what you do for 40 years. So when you catch up, then you'll be,
Well, I've been in the radio business for 40 years,
there
too.
you go. Well, that's 80 years of experience on 2 different things.
I just haven't been fired as much from a real estate point of view than I have in the radio business.
Well, I've been trying to get you to change your ways in the radio thing, but that's another story.
Yeah.
But yeah, Angel would be a great show to have him come in and tell his story.
How about Jesse? Jesse, another guy named Jesse. His father's name's Jesse. I've known the family since 1986, 85, when I was 25 years old. I used to work this neighborhood over. I was Mr. Sold, Jesse Mr. Sold Torrero. My sign was on 85% of the houses that were listed in this neighborhood of 1,000 houses.
Okay.
I passed out pumpkins. I did free ice cream. I did flowers on Easter. I did weddings. I did everything. I knew everybody's business. I was like Peyton Place, you know. I knew when they got married, when someone passed away, everything. I knew everybody's business, and I knew this young man, Jesse, when he was 6 years old. In 1986,
and how old was he when he bought his first house?
40.
40 years old.
Just under 40. In his late 30s, he graduated from college with a business degree. He's working for the city of Los Angeles. He got married, had a couple of kids, and he looked me up and he said, "It's time for me to buy my first house." And I've known this kid for 35 years.
Now, what's the key to that story?
Well, the key to that story is that his parents loved me, and I took care of his family for 30 years.
You had built a 30-year relationship with the family.
Yes, I was always there with the right words for the right answers.
You had to be the guy they call on.
And my name was everywhere.
Yeah. And you had built a certain amount of trust with the family.
Right.
You had sold mom and dad a house before, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so
long time ago.
Okay, but see, those are the residuals, the echo. That's
would people really be interested in that and hearing the details of something like that?
Of course.
I could probably have Jesse call in.
There you go.
You think they'd really be interested in something like that?
Sure. It's human interest stories. I mean, it's stuff that happens. People can relate to it because it's real. It's not, this reality TV bullshit.
No, you're
not making it up.
The story, I used to love to have fun with these guys that sell their late night cassette programs. They used to, but CD programs, these seminars, right? Come on out. I'll show you how to flip houses and become a multimillionaire in real estate in just a year, like this guy. And they have a testimonial. And a testimonial.
I bought my first house and I had no money down.
Right, and Rob
I had just lost my job and I didn't know what I was going to. Okay. Now, let me ask you one question.
Yes.
Is that shit real?
No.
Okay. You tell people why it's not real and why it's all fake.
Well, they can't skirt. There's a story. I was at AFM. AFM, that's the American Film Market a couple of weeks ago.
Right.
I did like 14-hour show live there, lots of interviews, right? I ran into the guy. His last name was Vu. V-U. He's Vietnamese. V-U. Okay. And I said, his name was Vu. And I said, oh, are you related to Tom Vu? Now, nobody knows who Tom Vu is.
Right.
Tom Vu was a Vietnamese real estate shyster who used to have commercials all around the country, and he had these beautiful boats. You were in the yachts and boats, beautiful boats in the harbor.
I remember this guy.
And he had these beautiful women, big-breasted women, big white-breasted women. I mean, no, really, I'm just saying it like it is. There were no brown, there were no black, there were no Asian, there were no. It was big white American-breasted women in 1984.
Okay,
right?
Got it.
I caught the guy. Said, Tom Vu, this is Tom Vu. Tom, you could be millionaire like me. You could be big boat, big girls, have big money, have a big time, just like me. Come to my real estate seminar. Come to my seminar. I teach you one day how you can be real estate mega superstar. Right, Tom Vu, right?
Right.
He did that whole scheme, got you down to the Sheraton Universal.
Sure.
You're free, right?
Right.
But they had their guys lined up at the end of the show at desks, wheeling you in like a stuck fish on a tuna boat.
The closers.
Right?
Yeah.
And you would end up paying, at that time, $500, $1,000, $1,500 for his 6-week coachable course, right? Where you get a phone call once a day or something, and these seminar books, and he'd teach you how to do all this, right? And the FBI came down on him for all kinds of things, felony fraud and all kinds of stuff. He exited stage left, went back to Vietnam, into the jungles of Vietnam and Cambodia, and nobody ever saw him again.
Right.
Now, so you ask me, is that stuff true? No.
Okay.
But the theory of it is true. But the reality, the practicality of it is not.
People hear the key points. You can do it too. Look at me. I can barely speak English. I came here on a boat.
Yeah.
And blah, 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 blah.
Right.
Yes, you can do it too. So the hopeless.
Right.
That's the dog whistle. Yeah.
We used to go down to my pal Al, he was one of the guys I started in the real estate
Was that
business.
a TV show? My Pal Al?
Yeah, he's still in the real estate business. He's
Okay.
like one of my oldest guys, that I've known. We kind of got started at the same time.
Right.
And we were in an office together on and off for 10 or 12 years when I used to work at other offices. But I would say, hey, man, you want to get a free lunch? And he goes, I go, yeah. I go, there's a big seminar down to Hilton. See, the Hilton used to be off the 405 freeway. It's the Marriott now.
Okay.
Yeah, I said, there's a big seminar. They got a real estate seminar. He goes, what are they serving for lunch? I said, I don't know. They got a free buffet, and it's supposed to be pretty good. He goes, you got tickets to get in? You don't need no tickets, man.
He goes in the bum rush.
He goes, we going to have some fun? And I said, oh, yeah, we're going to have some fun. Right? And he goes, okay, let me see what my schedule looks like. So we'd go down there. And we walk in. Hey, we want to become a real estate investor. We want to make millions of dollars.
Right.
And we heard about it. I know you're filled up, but can you let us? Oh yeah, sure. Come on in. There's always a few seats left.
Right.
Oh yes, come on in. Right. So we would go there, and we'd be there, and the guy would come out. Joe Land. I remember this guy specifically. Joe Land. He was a tax specialist when you could buy a lot of tax sales at the time, and
Right.
This was like in '87. Right after the Reagan Tax Act, where he reformed all the tax and property tax, all changed around the country, what you could write off and not write off. Anyhow, so he was a big tax guy, and so tax certificates and all this stuff, and real estate related.
Right.
And so we got about halfway through it, and then they opened it up for questions. Joe Land did his song and dance routine up there, real sophisticated, in a beautiful suit, well spoken, smart guy. So he goes, Al says to me, so you gonna stand up? I said, watch. Hi. Stand right up, 500 people, right? I'm in the middle of the crowd, and of course I'm kind of loud, right? I'm not meek, right? You know? So I say, Joe Land, my name is Jesse Torrero, and I just have a question about your Tax Reform Act package here. How come you say that we can get all these tax certificates when, in fact, there are none of those available in the city of Los Angeles? When was the last time that you checked the county tax assessor's office in which the way that you're selling this package?
Boom. Bomb dropped in the middle of the
Good answer. Like Jeff Sessions did today dancing around Congress, right?
Right. He was Fred Astaire.
Oh, man. And I thought, for a minute there, I thought he was James Brown. I mean,
he was doing the camel walk and
everything, man. I thought it was channeling Michael Jackson and the first moonwalkers, the tap dancers, which were the first moonwalkers.
He was the ultimate dancer.
I mean, it was unbelievable. And so, wait a minute. No, this is no, that's not my. That's somebody else called. Michelangelo's calling me while I'm on the air.
Come on, Michael.
What's wrong with you?
What's the matter, you, Michael?
Okay.
Michelino.
Right. So I get there. Okay. All right. I sit down. He goes on. I said,
No, he didn't call on you again, did he?
I said, I have another question. What are those people in the back doing with the desks and the chairs and tables? Oh, well, that's where you can get our course. I said, I thought it was for free.
Damn. Busted.
Sit down. I got another question. What happens when you make all this money with all the money that you make? What are you going to do with it? Because you're going to get taxed on it because they took away all the write-offs in the 1986 Reagan Tax Act, Reform Act. They took away all the property write-offs. So what are you going to do with that profit? Well, you have to do a 1031 tax exchange. And I said, well, can you explain what a 1031 tax exchange is? Oh, you have to take the course. I said, this is a 1031 tax exchange, everybody. You take the money from one property that's like and same, and you move it over here to another property that's like and same. It has to be income producing. You can't live in it. And then you can take that money, move it to there. You don't get taxed. It's deferred to the future. And then what you do on that property over there, you go refinance, get your money out. It's not taxable because interest money is not taxable. Then you come to me, Jesse T, because I'm a real estate broker, and I'll teach you everything you got to learn in 5 minutes.
Damn. So
they
the
escorted
muscle
me out.
guys came. Got you right.
Hey, the guys with no tooth. Hey,
come on with me. Follow me here, young man.
Follow me.
Yeah.
Right.
Otherwise, you're gonna break your legs.
But no, it isn't for real. The theory is, but the practicality isn't.
Right.
Would anybody be interested in a show like that? Really?
Well, yeah, I would.
Patrick Kilpatrick just joined us, and Paula Messages just joined us. I can't see over there. Who's over there? That's Tom Bowker, I think, or Tom Bowers.
Yep.
And who else?
Bob Gore.
Oh, Bob Gore. Who else?
Phoebeus somebody.
Phoebeus Snow. I like that name. No. And if you flick it up with your finger, do the flip, the down there. We got a whole bunch of people checking in. Jason and Sean Fernando, right?
No, somebody else.
Oh, okay.
Fernando.
Okay, so,
Ryan?
I mean, would you people be interested in getting some nuts and bolts on how to buy some real estate, especially with escalating prices and diminishing supply?
Yeah, you want the truth.
Yeah.
How to do it as easily as possible,
Right.
legal,
Right?
and no bovine, no bull.
No, straight to the point.
Straight to it.
Yeah.
The real way.
And I'll get it
No
done for you.
blindfolds,
No.
none of that.
No.
I think people would absolutely be interested in that.
When we first got here to the station, I flirted around with that idea.
Yeah, you did.
But it
you
didn't seem
you talked yourself out of it because you wanted to do
Well,
Jesse T. the old radio Jesse T.
Well,
I think people are looking for information on a multitude of things. And what's one of the most important investments you'll ever make in your life? Your home.
yes.
Or an investment property.
Yeah.
If you teach people how to do it the right way,
Right.
I mean, that's credibility, man. I'll come to you every time.
Well, you're going to come to me anytime.
Well, I have no choice
Yeah.
because you're my friend.
Right.
So here's the thing.
Right.
I think you should give it a shot.
Every day, though?
Yeah. I know it'll be boring to you, but I'll help you make it exciting.
Yeah, because how many times can you teach somebody the same thing? Of course,
But it's not the same thing. Okay, you got Jesse and you got Angel.
Yes.
Are those identical stories?
No.
See?
No.
Prove my point
they're
right
totally
there.
Different. Totally
Those are
different people.
Two different stories, two different starts, two different ends.
Yeah, and then there's commercial real estate, there's land development, there's dealing with the city and the permits and plans, there's construction loan financing, there's hard money financing, there's selling condos, townhouses, selling foreclosures, there's selling
Businesses,
all kind of businesses, business
new
ops,
business,
business
cannabis,
ops.
the cannabis
Well,
building.
the cannabis stuff's it's all real estate related. Everything
See?
is real estate
See?
related.
I rest my case, Your Honor. This man should be held for the rest of his life doing a real estate show.
I've been trying to leave the business forever, and they keep sucking me back in.
But it'll be good for you, Jesse.
All right.
It really will be.
Yeah. Well,
But that's just my thought. What the hell do I know? I'm just saying. I mean, think about it.
think about it. Yeah, I
Yeah,
guess.
go home and talk to Mama Tia and see what she thinks. I've already talked to her, so we have a meeting of the minds.
Oh,
Yeah.
so there's a conspiracy going on
Well,
here.
you could put it that way, but now we're looking out for the best interests of you and your family. We're all family oriented here.
Yes, we
It's
are.
about the family.
It is about the family.
That's right.
You ain't got
You
no
got
family.
two wonderful kids. They're out
Yes.
thriving, trying to do the best they can do.
Yeah.
They still need to know that dad's behind them, and
Yeah.
trust me,
You're probably actually right. You sound like a black Italian.
I am.
You're a black Italian?
I'm Black Italian.
We got to get you a cape and like a Superman outfit called Black Italian.
Well, I got to have a damn cape and all that.
Because that's what makes you the super guy.
Super guy. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm not partial to capes, but okay, we can talk about it. If you're willing to talk about doing the real estate show, I'll consider the damn cape.
Oh, well, now.
No.
Look, if I can come in and do a TV show with a buck tooth, right?
Well, missing too. That ain't even a buck.
I don't know what it is, but my straw fits in there perfectly.
You could suck from the side.
I
huh?
do, man.
No, think about it. Seriously.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I will.
All right, I'm done.
Okay.
I'm going to go back to my corner.
I feel like you worked me over like I used to work those guys over from the seminar.
No, but see, you just saved a lot of people from getting ripped off.
Yeah, I would usually have 2 or 3 people meet me out in the hall or follow me. Hey, can talk to me a little bit about this or whatever. I'd say, you want to buy a house? Yeah. You got any money? No.
Call me later.
No. At that time, different
You
time.
could do money down, no money down.
Yeah,
kind
you
of
could
thing?
do all kinds of things. A lot more creative. By the 90s, it changed because the clampdown happened with the dot bomb explosion, and then it opened up again in 2008. The subprime blow up just killed everything. But they in the early 2000s, from the late 90s, early 2000s, you can do 80-20 loans. 80% first and 20% second, 100% financing, and have no money down.
Yeah, creative finance.
Yeah, at that time. It's hard to do that now, but you can get pretty close to it, 3% down, 3.5% down. You can get close to it and get the seller to bridge out the seller credits, and which could be anywhere from worth $10,000 to $15,000, $18,000. Now,
is that the same everywhere, or is that just kind of
No, that's
California?
Everywhere. That's federal, but each state has their own rules, laws, and regulations.
Right.
You have to be licensed in each state to practice real estate and loans.
Right.
You have to, because each state has their own way of making money.
So if someone called you from Georgia or Arizona or whatever, you would advise them based on the federal law standards and what have you.
Yeah.
But then you would also advise them, well, check with your state or real estate broker.
I would say check with somebody there.
Yeah.
What I would say, if you call me from Georgia, I'd hear what you have to say, and I'd say, well, this is the way it's done. Okay, it's done the same way everywhere, because if it's an FHA loan for a house or a VA loan, it's the same across the country.
Right.
Conventional, non-conventional financing is the same. The financing is the same, but disclosures are a little bit different each state. Some states are over-disclosed like we are. We're like the king of disclosure, and some states aren't as much disclosure. So the nuances of that aspect of real estate is different.
You know what I found interesting, because I've bought houses in different parts of the country. For example, in Illinois, you had to have a lawyer to do the closing.
Usually everything east of the Mississippi River, and the reason for that is because they were older states that were before the West, and there's a concept called judiciary foreclosures and non-judiciary foreclosures. A judiciary foreclosure is when you lose your property and it has to go through a court system in order to foreclose on you. It's usually tied to a mortgage. So most states east of the Mississippi, not all of them, but most of them in general are what's called mortgage states. Okay. Mortgagor, mortgagee. Okay, owner of the money, the person who borrowed the money. And so that becomes a judiciary foreclosure because of the mortgage, and that's the way it used to be done. And most of the time, attorneys handle the closing there's actually a closing table. Right. And you have they pay for the title, the escrow, the termite, all that stuff gets paid for right there. Exactly. And it's negotiated there between the attorneys on each side.
On both sides, yeah. The buyer and the seller.
West of the Mississippi, it's a little bit different. We're a grant deed state. We don't have mortgages. We have grant deeds, even though they're called mortgages in your note, but the deed itself of the property is a grant deed. It's a deed. Okay. And you're granted the right to live there as long as you keep making the payment. Right. Right. And then when you stop making a payment, they take your right back to live there, and they foreclose on you, what's called a non-judicial foreclosure, which means they don't have to go to court to foreclose on you in the same way. Okay. They have to file the necessary paperwork, but it happens very quickly.
But the title company handles all of that.
Title company and escrow companies are separate. Attorneys don't do anything in the state. They desperately want to, and they're constantly fighting it, but the big lobby group, NAR and CAR and all that stuff, fight against it. But they're making their erosions into it. In my 40 years, I've seen the importance of a real estate broker or agent diminish little by little by little. And a loan, especially they've destroyed the independent loan person after the 2008 blow up. They destroyed it. That market, that individual will never come back like they were because the banks have gobbled up all of that. And the way the new federal laws are, it's just almost impossible to do business. I mean, when you got Bank of America can offer you no points and pay for your escrow. And if you're a mortgage broker, you have to make something. You make it on the points, either on the front end or the back end on the rebate. So you got to make it somewhere. And at some point, it becomes worthless trying to make any money in the business because if you can only make 1 point, I don't care what your customer service is. Most people today don't have the allegiance that they had 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And they just want the money, cheap, fast, quick, and easy. And they don't really care if your name's Bill, John, Tony, Cindy, Tamika, Hasmik, or Lou. They don't care.
Okay, so
the only way the way I get around that is, and this is just a secret. I'm telling you my business model. So anybody who's listening will hear it. I don't really care. There's so much business out there. But the way you do that is, see, I don't do loans for anybody. Just anybody. I won't do their loan if someone comes to me and says, I want to buy a house and I'm already in escrow and I want you to do, and their real estate broker looks me up and says, can you do a loan for me? I usually will say no. One, I don't want their stress and headache when something goes awry in the loan during the process, because something always goes awry.
Right.
I have no control of the buyer or borrower because I don't have a relationship with them. They were given to me by their broker or agent, and I don't have.
You just want to get the deal done.
I don't have a direct relationship, so now I usually end up getting stressed out with them because things happen all the time. So I generally won't do a loan for somebody who I don't handle the purchase. So when I handle the purchase, I get to know the people and who they really are.
Right.
And I get to know how they function, how their money functions. I get to know them. I get to know the nuances of what they can afford and what they can't afford, and how they afford it, and how I know the person. So when then I put the loan together for them, along with Esteban, my processor, over at Vision One, when we put the loan together for them, we put the loan for them with their nuances and parameters as a person. We piece it together that way. So.
And how much time will you need to get to know them?
Usually,
is it worth your time in terms of what you're going to make off of that deal?
Because when I bring them to a listing, I'm getting 2.5% to 3% from the seller to sell them that property.
Right.
So it doesn't matter how long it is.
Okay.
So
if you're just doing the loan,
I don't make any money.
No money?
I make maybe 1.5%.
Well, that's if it's $1 million house and everything in California is $1 million.
Yeah, but realistically, you don't sell a lot of those unless you live and were raised with a spoon in your mouth in Beverly Hills. Okay, I mean, you don't. You can say that, but there are sure a lot of houses. I just sold Angel a house for $350, dude. 2-bedroom, 1 bath, and we saw 50 houses under $390 in the city of Los Angeles, in decent neighborhoods.
But aren't they getting few and far between?
Yeah, but still, you're not having to pay $1 million. Yeah. So the average sales price in LA is $500,000. This is a benchmark. So 1% of $500,000 loan is $5,000, right?
I'll do it.
Well,
all those guys that call you for that, you don't want to do them.
You might
send them to me.
You might do it, but you don't understand the stress.
I'll take that 5 Gs.
The stress that can be belabored on you, and the challenges and issues. It really can be time-consuming, very time-consuming. You can only do so much in a day's time.
Yeah.
Generally speaking, I've always said that the typical loan officer or the typical real estate broker selling real estate can handle really logistically 8 to 12 deals themselves a month, and they better have an assistant that knows them well, because you just get backed up in customer service.
Yeah.
It's too many questions, too many concerns. You just don't have the time. And the minute you get clamped down in time, then you aren't producing new prospects.
Right.
And your business goes to
hell.
Because you're only as good as the prospects that you're farming.
Right.
For the future.
So you need a couple of assistants who can answer some of the mundane, regular routine questions.
Right. And
what time is the closing tomorrow?
And for me, I don't like that.
Well, yeah.
I'm talking about my practice.
Sure.
I don't like that. I like to be able to talk directly with the people I work with. I like to get to know them. I like to help them in the areas they need to be helped. I like to be able to pick up their phone. I like to be able to go and meet them for lunch somewhere and say, yeah, well, this is how we're going to do this. I like that older kind of style of real estate and loans. Yeah. Because I've been on the other side, and it's no fun. It's just no fun.
Well, it isn't. I understand that. And
I'm not
and
assembly
I can equate,
line. I'm not assembly line.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the thing.
Gotcha. So you're a boutique.
Yeah, and so it gets to a point where at some point when you make see, because that $5,000, I got to split with my processor.
Okay.
So my processor, I pay my processors really well. Because the processor, the one that actually packages the deal, I put the pieces in the puzzle, but they package
it up and sell it.
And they get it to the underwriter.
Right.
The underwriter makes the yay or nay. They're the gatekeeper of the investor's money.
Right.
So the processor usually works closely with the underwriter, and the processor knows how the underwriter thinks, and the processor will package up the deal to get the deal through the underwriter's way of thinking.
Sure.
Because the underwriter is the gatekeeper to the investor's money. And
Right.
if you can't get past the underwriter
it ain't
because
gonna
it's something that they're not used to or they feel odd, the minute this ambiguity or concern comes into an underwriter's mind, you get conditioned up and you're going down the wrong path real fast.
So everything that you just told me so far tells me I want to deal with a guy like Jesse T because he understands the process. He's going to be hands-on, and my odds or my chances of getting this deal closed is higher than dealing with some Mo.
Yeah, and I'm going to get you the competitive rate and the competitive pricing.
Right.
And I'm going to get your deal closed.
Right. Well, see, that's the bottom line.
Always get your deal closed. I have a very, very low loss rate. It's usually something tragic, like the house burns down or someone dies in a drunk car accident hitting a telephone pole.
Wow.
Really, seriously.
Wow.
Or mom needs money in Oklahoma and she doesn't have any insurance for some surgery.
Yeah.
Or something happens to the kid at a university up in San Francisco, right?
Right.
So it's usually something crazy, or a divorce. They got caught cheating on each other, or drugs, or something that is a God-made tragedy that nobody can possibly control.
So see, again, that's 40 years of real estate experience that you have. I mean, you see these guys on TV in Hollywood, and Beverly Hills, and Bel Air, and these reality, $1 million house deals.
And there are dudes and gals that do that. There's no doubt. I know some of them.
Right. Exactly. But do they know any more than you do?
They don't know any more than I. In fact, I know more than they know.
Okay.
Because they're focused in on one thing.
Yeah. And a lot of what we see on is show as well.
Of course. Yeah. It's entertainment.
Yeah. So same thing. You've got that.
Yeah.
Your knowledge is valuable.
Well, I guess so.
That's why
I've always understood my place of what I like to do in that profession. That's why I started it, not just because I wanted to make a lot of money and buy houses. And I started it because I thought, wow, this is really cool. I could actually help people, and they would appreciate it.
Yes.
As stupid and naive and childlike that might sound, that was the driving force for me for years, is the fact that I felt good that I accomplished something good for somebody.
Right. Let me ask you a question. What is you sell Joe Blow a house. What is the...
Well, can I sell Cindy Blow a house instead of Joe Blow?
You can sell Cindy Blow.
There she blows! There she blows! Get my pirate tooth out.
The other side, yeah.
There she blows! Where's that wench, Cindy Blow?
Okay, so you sell Cindy a house.
And by the way, my same personality that I have right now, same way when I'm working with people.
Well, that's cool. That's you.
That's me.
Okay, and that's what they're going to get. However, you sell Cindy a house today, you know that you're probably not going to see her again for a long time. What is the average time that you get a chance to sell Cindy another house?
5 years.
5 years, okay.
Yeah, the turnaround rate for first-time home buyers in Southern California is 5 to 7 years.
Okay.
But
generally
what happens is they refinance within 2 to 3 years.
Okay.
Because they need money out. The equity is bumped up. Like the equity in the last 2 or 3 years of real estate. I mean, if you bought I'll give you an example. Out in Antelope Valley, one of the cheapest places to buy in Los Angeles County. It's cheaper than the friggin' ghettos. Whatever you think the ghetto is, it's cheaper in Antelope Valley.
Really? Okay.
Yes, okay? But it's an 80-mile hike.
Yeah.
And that 14 freeway is a killer.
Yeah.
It's the worst freeway in the state of California.
Wow.
More accidents, more traffic, more vehicle death on that freeway, the 14 freeway. So if you ever Uber that 14 freeway, dude, be careful.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, I have.
Now, I'll use Angel again, okay? He bought it, 4 years he tried to buy a house. Got turned down, couldn't get a loan, no broker would work, no agent would work. Blah, 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 blah. 4 years. Then he came across me when I was running for Council Seat 7, the city of Los Angeles. I was doing all that community activism stuff a year ago. I've kind of backed away from that, but you know, for a good amount of years. And he wanted to join my campaign. Okay? All right. So that didn't happen. I threw in the towel in the summer of last year because that's not me. I just, you know, I'd be across the horseshoe wanting to take somebody out to the parking lot.
Right.
Okay. It's not me.
Right.
So he wanted to buy a house. So I had a listing, $173,000. He bought it. We got him a loan. Fine. No problem. That house, I reappraised that house 8 months later for $275,000.
Wow.
8 months, he made 100 G's.
Yeah.
I refied it.
Okay.
Because the first loan he had was an FHA loan. Now we're going to this gets a little bit complicated, so I'm going to say it real quick, and kind of cut it down. Okay.
Okay.
The first loan he got was an FHA loan because it's the easiest loan for a first-time home buyer to get. The interest rate's a little bit higher, but it's an easier loan. The parameters and qualifying process that the underwriter uses are set by the federal government, which allows for home ownership because it's backed by HUD and insured through HUD through the FHA. It's an insured loan, so the bank, if they go belly up and don't pay it, the bank gets their money. Though the buyer pays for that in MI, mortgage insurance, built within the monthly payment. They pay for the taxes, they pay for the principal and interest, and the mortgage insurance. It doesn't matter, though. It's easier to qualify. You only have to come in with 3% down, okay? So, but you have to live there.
Okay.
You have to live there. It has to be your principal residence.
All right.
Okay? You can't rent it out.
Ever.
No, you can't rent it out. When you're buying it, you can't have the intent to rent it out.
Okay, got it.
And you have to move in.
Okay.
And you have to put the utilities in your name.
Right.
And you have to change your driver's license to the location where the house is at. Because that's what normal people do.
Right.
Okay. And you should do that for about 6 months. Now, you could rent it out 2 months after you're in the property because who's to say that you can or cannot rent it out? There's no legal issue about that at all.
Okay.
But what you do is you show that you're living there. So it's your principal residence. In this case, Angel wanted to move closer to his work in Los Angeles.
All right.
So we rented it out a couple of months after he was in there.
Okay.
Okay. The challenge was he didn't want to rent. Now, he's getting positive cash flow on the property of about a couple $100 a month because I got him a real low interest rate versus the mortgage or the loan. But he didn't want to go rent an apartment for $2,000 a month. All right? He wanted to buy another house.
Okay.
But he couldn't. And here's
He was
why.
maxed out.
6 months, you have to be in an FHA loan 6 months before you can refinance. Otherwise you get penalized. Okay, so you have to be in the loan for 6 months.
Okay.
Now the reason why he has to have an FHA loan because it's low money down,
Right.
And the parameters are wider to qualify.
Sure.
They aren't so inquisitive.
Right.
Okay, so he couldn't buy another house. Otherwise, he would have to come in with 5% down or 10% down or 15% down. And he wanted to be closer to his Los Angeles job, which means $300,000 to $400,000. That means anywhere from $15,000 to $40,000 down. Didn't have that kind of money. You know, you just don't save that kind of money that fast. Okay, so I had to figure out a way that I could get him out of that loan with no fees or charges against him, and refinance the property in a decent interest rate that he currently owned in Lancaster area, Antelope Valley, which would then free him up to use his FHA loan again.
Again.
But he has to be 88 miles away from the last place that he used his FHA loan. Now, if you asked 20 brokers that question, they would have never gotten what I just told you.
Yeah.
All the little pieces.
Yeah.
These are little pieces.
40 years of experience,
Pieces.
Jesse.
Just these little pieces,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So the first house we found was 84 miles away.
It has to be how many?
88 miles.
88. So you're
minimum.
4 miles short.
Yeah, couldn't buy it.
Right.
Unless he wanted to put 5% down.
Right.
But we refinanced him out of that FHA
Now, those
loan.
road miles or air miles?
Road miles.
Road
no,
miles.
no. As a crow
Line of
flies.
sight.
As a crow
Okay,
flies.
line of
85,
sight.
88 miles.
Point to point. Okay.
So, but he still wanted to get out of that FHA loan. Why? Because there's something called mortgage insurance.
Yeah.
Okay? And you can't get out of mortgage insurance anymore like you used to be able to. Okay? You just can't acquire 20% equity and then ask the lender to take you out of mortgage insurance. It can't be done anymore. They stopped that after the 2008 subprime blowup.
Okay.
The federal government changed the laws. Okay? So the only way you can get out of the mortgage insurance is to get out of the loan, pay it off,
Right.
sell the house, or refinance out into a loan that doesn't have mortgage insurance.
Or move 88 miles away.
Or, no, you'd still have the FHA loan.
Okay.
So you still have the mortgage insurance. And the mortgage insurance makes the mortgage payment goes up, which means you lose money in rent
Yeah.
because you're paying more out than's coming in.
Sure.
So the idea was to get him the opportunity to make more money and get him out of the FHA loan and get rid of the mortgage insurance. So in order to do that, you have to have at least a 20% equity position on a conventional loan, not an FHA loan or non-conventional loan. Okay, so with that in mind, what you have to do then is I had to figure out a way to refinance him out of the FHA, to get him into a regular loan, okay, because his property went up $100,000, remember?
Mm-hmm.
So I had enough equity to put him in a regular loan with no mortgage insurance. So he just added $80 a month to a positive cash flow.
Okay.
And free him up, if he wants to do an FHA loan somewhere else farther than 88 miles.
Right.
Well, we found a lot of properties 88 miles out, but they just weren't right. So he eventually found a house. I found him and bought him. He's buying a house right now. We're in escrow. It's like 82 miles. So he can't do an FHA loan, but he's putting 5% down.
Is that because he was able to refinance the house up in Lancaster?
No.
He pulled the equity out of it?
No, he didn't pull any equity out.
Oh, okay. Well, tell me how that happens.
Well, he was able to save some money.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
Right.
in that
Okay.
time period.
Okay. Well,
All
cool.
right, and put down to a new house.
Okay.
But here's the key. He doesn't have to buy the new house with an FHA loan anymore.
Right.
And he can do an FHA loan. So guess what? It's going to happen. He's going to close the escrow on this house. Then we're going to go 88 miles that direction east. And he's going to buy a house with an FHA loan 88 to 90 miles away. And within a year and a half, he's going to own three properties that have all almost doubled in equity.
Wow.
That's what I do.
And you don't think you could do a show every day on that? Not just that topic, but see, that's one of 80,000 stories you got.
Yeah.
And you can bring in real people that are willing to talk about their experience.
Sure.
Okay. Or not.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay. Well, if you don't do the show, damn it, I'm going to do it. Now, you'll be my guest every day. How's that? How's that? Uh-huh. And you don't have to come in. You can do it on the phone. How's that?
That's true. Yeah. Well, no, I like doing this. I'll do. We'll talk and maybe there is some interest there, especially with this new millennial generation who's all moving into buying houses now for the first time in their lives.
And you think they know how to do it? You think they really understand?
Well,
the process?
Can go on Wikipedia and the internet now and learn all this stuff, can't they?
Shit. Most of them don't know how to balance a checkbook. Are you kidding me? They don't teach that in school like they taught us. At least we talked about it in my high school.
Oh, man, I was taught how to get your checkbook and balance it.
That's what
for
I'm
me.
talking about. Yeah, right. Exactly.
So,
Yeah.
there's a lot of little nooks and crannies about real estate. And as you get into commercial, industrial, and that kind of stuff, it even gets more interesting because it's more fascinating and there's more things to learn. And there's never, you never know everything.
No.
You always learn something.
But you have to stay up on it every day.
Every day.
As the rules change, you have to change with it.
Yeah.
And now, how often do you have to renew your license?
Every 5 years.
Every 5 years.
Yeah. I got to take 40 hours of extra training.
Otherwise,
I just
you're
renewed
SOL.
my broker's license.
Right.
My loan one's coming up. I got to renew that, and I'm in the process of renewing my notary license. So, because there's traveling notary services too, I'd teach you how to make some money. I could even do that in this if we start talking real estate.
See,
teach you how to make some money, and you don't have to drive Uber.
Well, what if you were Uber driver,
making money
doing notary?
You could.
So I could be a notary, and then let's say there's a client called me and said, "Can you come to me and I need to get a document notarized?"
Yeah.
And I'm in Calabasas.
Traveling notary, $150.
Okay, so I'm in L.A. All I have to do is get a trip to or near Calabasas.
So you make some money.
Go do the notary, $150. Turn around and do the opposite.
I think we got a business going, and we could call it. You know what we could call it? We could call it Nuber business.
Nubering.
Neubering.
Yeah, I'm Nubering. What are you doing, Lee? I'm Nubering. What the hell is
Mama T says, "Where you at?" Hey, baby.
I'm neutering.
I'm Nubering, baby.
Neutering or
no,
Nubering?
I'm Nubering. Nubering. Don't you know what Nubering is?
You better keep your clothes on, fool. That's all I know. So, yeah, man. So how long does it take to get your notary license or permit or whatever it's called?
Fast. Real fast.
Real fast?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you have to renew that every so often, right?
I believe that's one of the test questions. I don't know.
You better go read the manual again, dude. I got a buddy over in the valley. He's going through that process.
I think every couple of years you have to.
Yeah.
The notary exam is you have to every couple of years. It's faster because you can get a lot of trouble being a notary if you don't do it right. You can go to jail.
Yeah.
There's federal laws that are involved here.
Because if you tell a lie on it.
Oh, I got a story.
jacked up.
I got a story about a guy who got in a lot of trouble with notaries.
No, there you go.
Yeah.
So, again, there's a million stories in the Naked City.
In the Naked City.
And here's
night.
another one on the Jesse T. I know all about it show.
Or at least I sound like I know about it.
No, you do.
That's half the bill.
It is. All right, Jesse, you got 5 minutes now. What are you going to talk about?
I go back to the pirates. Yeah. That's right. Well, I don't know what happened to my guest.
I guess. What were we supposed to call him? You got me all wrapped up. I forgot to do my job.
I think we both forgot to do both of our jobs. No, we tried to call him.
Yeah, right. And he didn't answer.
He didn't call back, so
That's right.
we tried to call him.
That is right. So we did what we were supposed to do.
Tomorrow, Roundup Wound Up.
Yes.
Michelangelo, who's been watching the show today and learning about Jesse T style of real estate. Oh, I got a funny story.
Okay.
This is really a funny story. Kind of a funny, goofy story that happened to me once. Well, it's kind of a funny, goofy kind of you wouldn't believe it kind of story. So I think I told you this story once. I'm showing this house across the street, and this was the older times when we had the books with pictures in them. We didn't have computers and we didn't have cell phones.
The MLS book.
Yeah, MLS book.
I remember those.
Yeah, and so I had my client with me. They were devout Jehovah Witnesses. I mean, serious hardcore Jehovah Witnesses. And of course, I was a Jehovah Witness the whole time I was with him. Yeah, that's right. Right. So
playing the game, huh?
Yeah. So we come out of this house, and right across the street, the sign company was just putting up the sign up on this house for sale. They just dug the hole and put the sign up. So they said, "Can we see that house?" I said, "Well, I don't think there's a lockbox on there, but I'll walk over there." And we used to have these little keyed lock boxes. We have computerized ones now. And they said, and they actually had a lockbox on it already. And I said, well, at that time, I didn't like to go into houses I didn't know, I didn't see first. At that time, that was kind of really old school. You don't do that anymore because people don't care anymore about that. It's a whole different social agenda that is different of that. But that time, I used to go into preview houses because that's what we were supposed to do, and I didn't. So I went into this house, opened the door, and they had two little kids, two little Jehovah's Witness kids. Yeah, those poor Jehovah's Witnesses, they got a shock of their life. So I opened the door, nice house, 1,600 square feet, and the kitchen and the living room and the bedrooms up front. And then off the back door of the kitchen, they did an extra room addition, and it was like a step-down family room. Okay? And so I'm showing the front of the house, and the little kid, one of the little girl Jehovah's Witness, young girl, she was about 7. She was a little bit of a wild child. They had a hard time keeping in touch with this girl. She was like the Tasmanian devil, the road runner, And the boy was calm. So she's running all around the house. And I'm going, please, 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 in my head, just control your kid. Because, if they get hurt in the house, I get in trouble. So there could be a dog. There could be a knife laying around. There could be all kinds of crazies. A gun? I don't know. I haven't seen the house. There could be all kinds of crazy. Drugs? There could be everything. Oh, who knows? They could break something, run into a plate glass window, whatever. So all of a sudden, we're in the front part of the house still talking about the house, and she comes running out of the back family room that she opened, and she comes running out with an adult sex toy.
Nice.
And it was a big one.
A big one.
It's a big one. And it was moving all kinds of different ways.
Wow.
Wiggling in the wind.
Wow.
And she runs up. She goes, "Mommy, mommy, 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 what's this?" And I'm going, "Oh, God." Now, these are Jehovah's Witnesses, really devout. I mean, pastor style, right? Really, really devout.
Right.
And so I grabbed it from her.
Wow.
And went back and opened the door to the family room. And, well, just let me put it this way. The most wild movie that you could see where people would do things in a room that was like called an orgy sex room. This room was laid out that way.
Wow.
With all the hanging devices and the pictures on the walls and the Polaroids and everything, right? And I'm going, oh, my goodness gracious, right? And so they put the sign up and the lockbox on, and the people didn't clean the place up yet.
Ouch.
So I scurried them out of there. I never sold them a property. I couldn't recover from that one.
No, that's
right. That was unrecoverable.
That's a killer.
So I went down the street to the telephone booth, and I called my buddy, pal Al. I said, "Pal, Al, my pal, you got to come down and bring Johan. I got something to show you." So we all did a Disneyland tour trip through their house. And then I came back the next couple of days when the woman was there just to see her impression. And I said, "Can I see that family room, please?" And she goes, "Oh, yeah." So I'm going, oh, man, I'm single then. Yeah, I'm going to score, right? So I go back in there, and the family room was cleaned up. And I just said, oh, man.
See, you needed a picture, a cell phone. But that
wasn't that those days.
Yeah, was that still during the Polaroid days?
Yeah, I remember. Yes, it was.
Yeah, wow.
All right, the Jesse T Show tomorrow, Roundup, Wound Up. The gang's all here, Michael Angelo and Dan DeMann. And myself, Jesse T, the Brown Beauty, will be on duty tomorrow. You just entered the world according to Torrero. You're straight on the point. We'll bring our guests back. Obviously, they probably have some time issues getting here on that traffic. I know how tough it is. And we'll bring you back, guys, so don't worry about that. And, hey, it's good to see you. You have a good one. And I don't know, maybe I will talk some real estate. I just want to know if I open my jacket, can I say, is this a lot or not? Thank you very much. See ya!